For the F Shack.
Love Dirty Mike and the boys.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys? How you know who we are?
What's this big called, the podcast?
Morning Good. Oh, I love
Hey, welcome to the Earth. Thanks. Oh, wait, I'll start over.
Welcome to Morning Good.
Pretty good.
All right, you sound beautiful. We're here with Chris Kinback.
Hello.
And me, because Tate he bailed.
Oh, what a shocker, dude. See that you can't get a comic to commit to doing something that's always.
Oh,
you
I
must
also
be
gotta
so
break-
used to that when
your podcast has no
booking
listeners.
is.
Dude, it's so funny. People are like,
nobody's showing up.
well, this was things too. People don't realize it's like, dude, it's like you have like a whole week goes by and you haven't done an episode and you're like, dude, I got to just fucking put this, I got to record something.
You're like, I need more friends. I wish
Yeah.
there were more people out there. But yeah, trying to work with comics, it's like, because comics are always like yes-anding things, and they're kind of be like, yeah, I'll do that. And then the day comes, and they're the most unreliable people in the world. Where they're like, I got a fucking doctor's appointment. It's like, you don't have health insurance. How do you have
There's no way. Yeah. Dude, I had the craziest thing happen with the doctor's appointment. So I was supposed to get my fucking tonsils taken out because I got tonsillitis 4 times in 4 months.
This is recently?
Yeah.
It sounds like a child's problem, no?
Yeah,
This is an
no, it's for babies.
It sounds like
Yeah,
something
yeah.
my nephew would have. I think my nephew just had, or maybe he has appendix taken out. But yeah, tonsils seems like a thing that like chicken pox almost.
Yeah.
You get it when you're a baby, or you fucking
Yeah.
don't.
I shouldn't be getting it, but I got it, and they were like, the doctors told me they're like, it would be like swallowing glass for 3 weeks straight if you fucking did this, so we're not going to do it. And 2 doctors said that exact phrase to me.
You should have been like, yeah, give it to me, dude. I can handle it.
No,
Swallow glass for 3 weeks straight.
I eat glass it is, you fucking bitch.
Why would so that would be if they took them out, or that would be if they don't take them
Yeah,
out?
they take them out. It's like swallowing glass for 3 weeks. And that's also crazy because doctors, like, normally they say this will only sting and it hurts really bad. So if that guy says it feels like swallowing glass for 3 weeks, that means it really fucking feels like swallowing
He's
glass.
probably a pussy, dude.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't know what he's talking about. But that's a so now you still have your tonsils, and now what? They're just fucking you out. They've
been
killing you
fine
from the
ever
inside.
since that happened. They've been fine. I gargle salt water, which is something like my mom was always like, "You gotta gargle salt water," and stuff like that. And I always told her I was doing. I'm like, that doesn't work. I just wasn't doing it.
Yeah,
like I was
yeah.
just doing things that I always said wouldn't work.
You're like, I'll gargle something else, mom, but
Some
not
semen.
salt water.
Yeah. But no, we fucking
Exactly.
we they were like, no, it's just not. So I'm just gonna have. They're like, you might just keep getting tonsillitis, but it's not as bad as like
And what is it like when you get tonsillitis?
your throat
Sucks.
swells up, and they sometimes have to drain the pus and blood out of your fucking throat.
Ah,
It's terrible. Yeah.
dude. I assume we all still have our tonsils, right? Unless you got
and
it
it's supposed
taken
to
out.
filter out like other diseases and shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yours just suck. Yours
Yeah,
just
mine suck, but they're not.
short-circuiting.
It would be like having brakes that don't work, and they're like, look, we could just rip the brakes out of your car, but
Right.
like it would be bad. Like that could cause more problems.
Yeah, you might as well just keep them. Maybe you'll grow out of it. You know, maybe it's just like a
I don't think so.
temporary issue.
Hopefully, I don't know. It's one of those things too where I can't smoke weed anymore because now I smoke weed and my throat just fucking swells. So I have to do edibles, which are terrifying.
Oh, they're brutal, dude. But hey, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it gets you to stop smoking weed. Were you a big weed smoker?
No, just before bed, but it's like I don't know. It's
Just every night before bed? But no, I'm not a weed smoker.
yeah. Well, in my mind, I'm like I don't wake it big, so I'm not really a real weed guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And dude, I had the weirdest fucking interaction though because I left and then I went to like a place to get a salad, and this Jamaican lady, she was talking to me, and I don't know what the fuck she was, but she's like, she goes, "Do you live in this neighborhood?" I was like, "No." She goes, "Oh, cool. What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I went to the doctor's across the street." She goes, "What kind of doctor's?" Like ENT. She goes, "I'm gonna go check it out." She goes, "Across the street?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna go over there now." And I'm like, what? That's like the weirdest thing. She's like, they check out your ears. She's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go check it out.
All of
like,
a sudden, she's like, "Oh, I need all these things done. I need all these procedures done."
yeah. I'm like, that's a fucking weird. Like, that's a weird last minute.
It's
thing.
like you recommended a restaurant or something.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, let me go take a peek and see what it is.
Yeah. See what they can do for me.
She asked me, she's like, is the doctor white? I was like, no. She's like, what is he? I was like fucking Indian, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Pakistani. Maybe.
It's weird, but it's
Iranian.
also like, yeah, that's an important factor. Like, is he some like sketchy underground doctor, or is he like a real legit doctor?
What does that have to do with his race? What are you
You're
trying to
probably
say?
looking for Indian. If he's Indian, I'd say he's probably more.
I think everybody
legit.
trusted India. First of all, I don't like. Dude, I don't think about race when it comes to doc. Like in my mind, I'm not like, oh, this is a this. I'm just like,
Right.
this is a doctor. He clearly, hopefully, smarter than me. But I'm never guessing like his race, like based on that.
Yeah, because if he is a race that like you rarely see there, you're like, wow, this guy must be really good at his job to like go to like not be in the typical group of people that do this job. He must be exceptional at it, don't you think?
So you see a Mexican doctor and you go, wow, he must be
Probably, yeah. He must be like really good. He must have like
I never think that.
he must have taken like a different path than the average doctor to get there because he had to jump through all these. He had to overcome more.
You had to jump through all these border walls. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he probably just had to overcome more to get there. So I would think he'd be exceptional. I was listening to.
It's so funny too because I thought you were going to get super racist with that. You're like, for a Mexican, he must be. But you're actually you're saying
no, yeah, he must have had to be extra good at it. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't understand this angle you're saying because you're saying.
Like if you're an Asian and you get into, actually no, it's kind of the opposite because if you're an Asian, it's harder for you to get into Harvard, right? So you have to overcome more to get into Harvard. So in that case, yeah, you kind of want an Asian doctor. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that theory doesn't work. But there's a big issue with I don't know if it's a big issue according to like Ben Shapiro and stuff, but they're trying to get more diversity in pilots. So they have to like lower the threshold to get in to be a pilot.
Oh, really?
So basically we're just going to have shitty pilots flying around in order to get diversity into pilots.
Well, I assume there's like not a lot of female pilots.
Right.
Is that the main?
It's just everything. More of everything. More females. More of what we don't have in there.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, they have to lower the threshold for people to get in to make it easier for these people to get in.
How do they
and then
have
they're
that
like,
discussion,
okay, is
though?
that what you really want? Flying your plane is like, oh, we crashed, but at least it was a
See, the thing is,
woman.
I never know. No, I agree, but I never know with the Ben Shapiro or like a lot of these guys. They say, I'm like, how much does that happen? Maybe it is
right, or are
maybe
they
like
really?
One guy pitched it at a meeting, and they're like, oh, now they're trying to have all trans pilots. And I'm like, I don't know if that's actually happening or if that's just what Ben Shapiro heard. Because like, but to be fair, I've done none of this research because like I disagree with that state. Like it is ridiculous. I don't care how diverse. But
that's the thing. Nobody wants that. Nobody would be like, oh, while we're flying, I hope my pilot is the. It's like I hope my pilot is the best pilot. I don't give a fuck what they are,
which just happens to be straight white guy.
Yeah,
they happen to nail it.
But it's like if that's who's better at it, it's like yeah, that's who you want as your pilot.
Well, yeah, but
so trying to get diversity into different things, it doesn't always work. Or doing it based on diversity, it's like. Just have it be blind. It shouldn't be based on if they're anything. Yeah, they should be blind.
More blind pilots.
But
it is funny. I think Spain just did something where they elected somebody with Down syndrome to like parliament or something like that.
That's funny.
Yeah, or it was some Spanish country. But that would be funny if they're like, yeah, just to let you know, guys, your pilot has Down syndrome.
Yeah, that would.
He's been practicing a lot with toy planes. This is his first real one.
Yeah, that's where the it's like diversity is all good and stuff in. I mean, it's not all good, but it's all fine when you're doing jobs that are like whatever, like companies and shit. Like, who gives a fuck? You know, I don't give a fuck. Make everybody have diversity quotas. But then when it comes to like my life, I'm like, oh no, I don't give a fuck about that. If you're giving me a pilot that's not as good as another pilot, or like a surgeon that's not as good as another surgeon, just because you wanted to hit some diversity thing, I'm like,
yeah, but I don't know how much that's like. What was the like? I'm not. I never know what's going on because there's always these same discussions where they're like, "This is what somebody's proposing."
It was,
and I never know if it's like same thing with cutting kids' dicks off. It's like, look,
yeah, how many of that is actually happening?
Yeah, because I'm really like, it's like, yeah, of course I'm against kids getting their dicks cut off. Like I'm not for it
unless they're misbehaving.
Yeah, punishment.
Yeah, unless you need to like neuter them.
Yeah.
Unless they're acting out in class, then you have no choice.
Can you get like castrated like just for? Like you're like, I'm not trans.
Shits.
I just don't want my balls anymore. They're fucking annoying. I'm making horrible fucking choices.
Yeah, I want to
cut
chill
my dick
out.
off. Yeah.
They used to do that because your voice would like
castratos.
Yeah,
dude, Michael Jackson's dad. They think he was
suspect
chemically
he might have
castrated.
done that to him.
Which does that really make him a pedophile if he never hit puberty? Because they say they gave him like puberty blockers or something like that, so he didn't like.
Right. So technically, his brain is still a child. He thinks it's a child. His body is still a child. So
that might be a loophole.
Technically, yeah. It's just the years. It hasn't really matured him at all. So yeah, you're right. He might be good. But even if you're a child, you still aren't allowed to try to fuck other children. You know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Can a child get thrown in jail for fucking another
You can't get
child?
thrown in jail, but you would get in a lot of trouble in school if you were a kid, if you were like a little kid and you were
Yeah,
trying
but that's
to
the
like
same as
touch
the
other
office,
kids.
though. So it's like if you fuck somebody off, I don't think it's illegal for kids to have sex with other kids.
No, if you're in third grade and you're a boy and you're going around like touching all the boys and girls, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get in trouble. They're gonna be like, no, keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah, but that's not because that's just because it's an inappropriate place to do that. Like if you're out of school, then it's like.
And you're both consenting.
I don't want to Google this, but I'm really curious if kids can fuck other kids. I want to know so bad, just so I could be like, because it is funny.
I think you can, but at a certain age, it's like
I think sex.
there's
I think
no
it might
way.
be illegal. Like there might be a thing where it's like illegal to have sex at a certain age, even if it's with people with that same age.
Yeah, that are both cool because you can't consent. Suppose the consent laws are like, oh, you don't have the brain capacity to consent. So it's like even if you. Although that's not true, because if like two 15-year-olds are fucking, that's perfectly normal. Neither one of them are age of consent.
Yeah, well, it's also like that goes the same argument of two drunk people fucking.
Right.
You're like, and that's the hard part, because the drunker you get, the harder it is to tell somebody else is fucked up.
Right.
So like people are like, oh, it's unethical for like sober guys to like go on dates with the girls that are drinking, but I'm like, they actually can decide more if that girl's drunk than somebody who's drunk. Because when you're drunk, everybody seems so normal.
So basically, the solution is if you're out with a drunk girl, and she wants to have sex, but you're sober. The safest
You
thing,
drug
the,
yourself.
The safest
Roofie
thing to do
yourself,
would be get
take a
get
Viagra.
really drunk,
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
and then match her drunkenness, and be like, "Well, we were both drunk."
But the problem is you made the decision. You knew you were sober, and then you started drinking more, and then you're like,
Yeah, but it's like you wanted to fuck her before you were drinking too. It's like it's not like you were like, "Oh, now I want to fuck her because she's drunk." It's like, no, I've always, Your Honor, I always wanted to fuck her.
Your Honor, I've always wanted to fuck her. Your Honor, she's look at those fucking titties.
Yeah. It's not like it was waiting till I got drunk to try to fuck her. It's like I was always trying to fuck her,
Yeah.
basically.
But that's not what it is. It's how drunk is she with her decision making. So it's like you're kind of like you have that little bit of advantage because you were sober for the amount of time.
Yeah.
This is all a formula. This really should, because there's no clear answer. Because there's a thing where it's like if you're dating somebody and they're hammered, you can fuck them. That's like not always, but like for the most part, it's like you're.
There's some sort of consent there. Yeah, it would be tough to like disprove that. It'd be tough to catch a charge.
Yeah, because dude, I was hammered. I woke up when like I was like blackout drunk with them. I fucked my ex, and I'm not like she's now a rapist because she fucked me when I was fucking wasted.
Yeah.
That's not how.
She was sober. You were hammered.
Yeah, it was like the next morning.
Yeah,
but also next morning stuff's tough because you don't always know how. Like I have a delayed reaction to alcohol, so I'm always fucked up the next day, dude. Like I am.
Well, it's also tough for a guy to ever claim that he was raped by any girl. You know.
Yeah, but I don't like.
You
I
don't remember
lie.
it. You don't remember it, but you also don't regret it. That's the other thing.
I've never fully blacked out sex. I've had sex where I black in and out. I always remember hitting it from the back. I don't know why that's always. I guess maybe when I'm drunk, that's just what I remember.
As a visual, dude. Yeah.
Because I remember that always
probably happened.
snaps me back in.
Probably
Look at
happened to you as a child, and now you can't. now it's on your brain.
Looking at a woman's asshole wakes me like that's like it's like a hypnosis. I'm like I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. That's what can bring you back to reality. So if Michael Good's ever like blacked out drunk and you want to bring him back,
Just
to
put a
reality,
woman's
just
asshole.
just
I'm
show
like, all
him
right,
the
I'm back.
asshole.
I'm back. Just like fucking what do you call them? Smelling salts just wakes me up.
Yeah. Do it for the good of everybody and show Michael Good your ass.
Yeah.
If you ever see him out too drunk, that'll get him back to reality. But yeah, it was some lady that's in charge of like some government thing for airlines, and she was saying we need to get more diversity in. So it's kind of an important person being like, yeah, this is a thing we're gonna do.
But it's also these things are always tricky too because there's also like one person in government proposing something is different than everybody agreeing with something. It's like do you know what fucking project? I think Northwood's what it's called. They were gonna like one guy on like JFK's staff was like, "Hey, we should fake a attack on the U.S. so that we can like invade Cuba or something."
Yeah.
And then he got like fired. But then everybody's like, "Dude, the government was trying to do this." I was like, "I don't know if or just one dude was suggesting
who's
something.
in the government, who represents the government." So it's like, yeah, there's some credibility to it. And then when you find out all the sketchy shit that has happened, you're like, yeah, maybe it's just a proposal, but at some point there was some proposal. Oh, I heard somewhere that there was a guy in government somewhere, maybe like Alabama. It sounds like an Alabama thing, but they were having a problem with kids dressing as furries in the schools, and he goes, his proposal was like with no sarcasm at all. He's like, we're gonna have animal control come. He's like, if they don't listen to the teacher, if they keep wearing those furries and like they keep dressing up like that and keep coming to school like that, then we're gonna send animal control.
Dude, just seeing a girl go like at like a fucking.
Imagine animal control having to come in and be like, God damn it. Another fucking fifth grader in a furry outfit. I gotta like tase it and put it in a net.
Dude, the idea of somebody throwing a net, or what's that like thing you put on dogs? It's
the
like
little choke collar.
The stick with like the thing you just
you lasso them.
Yeah. Dude, that has to be that. Okay, that would be the funnest part of the job. Just Okay, that's not like I'm a fucking pedophile,
right?
But trapping teenagers sounds fun in theory.
I'd be amazed, and they're in furry costumes, so they're like running around, and if they're really committed, they're staying in character the whole time. It really does feel like you're like catching a rabbit or something.
Yeah, but it's like a giant rabbit, dude. It's like you're hunting like monsters.
Yeah.
And then, dude, you had a fucking trank gun, dude.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be so sick.
What was that
That's
movie?
like the best way to be. You could live out the. I didn't want to say fantasy because I don't fantasize about being a school shooter, but you could live out that reality,
right,
but not hurt anybody.
Right. Yeah, it's basically a win for everybody. But it would also be
getting tranked in the fucking.
It would also be like, how do you get animal control to agree with that? Like that means there has to be. Animal control has to get a call and be like, we have to do this.
Yeah.
You just be like, no, we're not going to trap fucking
high school kids that are dressed like furries.
But that was a legitimate thing that was proposed in a government.
Well, my thing is this: it's like that. I'm on board with that because that just sounds so much fun. Like that sounds like the fucking coolest thing ever. Is like just them like. I picture them like dressed in like ghillie suits or like just I don't know how you. I guess that's not a good way to hide in high school, but maybe one's dressed as a furry and then he's like luring them. I don't know. This sounds like a game.
Right.
It sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, like a video game maybe.
Yeah.
They should make this a video game.
Hunt the furries.
It should be part of the next Grand Theft Auto.
Well, the thing I also wonder too is if you hit him with a trank, like how do they catch him? Because if you hit him with a trank, they're like they're like mascot costumes,
right?
So like it's probably like a shield on them.
Well, I assume if they have tranks that can take down like rhinos and stuff, they must have a trank that can penetrate a furry costume.
Yeah.
It can't be that difficult, but yeah, who knows? But that would be
dude.
That would
Could
be
you
an
imagine that
exciting
fucking
thing to
trial
watch.
where they're just like,
and they're still in the furry costume.
Yeah.
And they're bouncing
General
around.
Gruff says, well, it's like fucking. My thing too, though, is like I don't really like. I'm so people get really like bothered, especially like on the conservative side. They're like, oh, these kids are getting so fucking weird. They're putting like furry costumes on. They're like, I'm like a non-binary they see like they I get, but then they're like I'm the ZV Z whatever.
Yeah,
but I think it's gone so far that way that's fun for like I like the craziness of
yeah.
like, no, I'm a squirrel. Like I think that's fun. Like
and sticking to it is pretty wild. Yeah, because I remember we always had some weird kids in school, but like this is they almost like they had to ramp it up to a new level. Like they had to keep going higher and higher.
Yeah.
And now we're just at this crazy point where it's like, yeah, it
would
would kind of be fun because now they've pushed the envelope so far that it's like, yeah, you can kind of just do whatever the hell you want.
Well, my thing though is I've never seen a furry. Like I almost feel like I could see conservatives making up furries completely just because they're like but
it's believable.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, now these kids are identifying as squirrels. You're like, wait, is that real or are you just? Because I know it is real because I've seen the online shit. You're like, what the fuck is this? But it's also like one of those things too where it's like, it's so wild that we went from like you look like back in the day. It was just men wearing black and white suits all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's so wild that like dudes were wearing black and white suits all the time, always, and just being like, "Hey, how's it going? So how you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, very good, very good. Like the craziest thing you did was ride a bicycle with a giant wheel on it, and that was like out of control.
Yeah, it's almost like they had like a uniform for that era.
Yeah,
like everybody had the same uniform,
which is crazy. And then next thing you know, you have people in. It's so crazy that it jumps to that. Like, what was autism back then? Like, what was the version of like that?
I just don't think they acknowledged it back then. They were just like, oh, this person's a weirdo. Get it together. Or they just like beat people into submission.
Like,
so
do you think
like,
there was a
I
guy?
want to be crazy, and it's like, no, you don't. Fucking
yeah.
get
I guess
it
you just
together.
be thrown. But it's like, it's weird too because it's like, what would you like? Was there like a furry equivalent? Like, was there a guy that like glued dog fur to himself and like ran around town?
There
like,
must have been. Yeah, there must have been insane people back then. I mean,
is that where
look at
werewolves kind of came from? Was like some guy who like thought he was a wolf?
probably or Bigfoot maybe.
Yeah.
was just dressing up. But yeah, there must have. I mean, you look at the amount of insane people we have today. There had to have been, at least a similar amount of crazies back then that were just roaming around.
Well, also people were drunk all the fucking time then.
That's the thing. They didn't have mental health care. They didn't have anything. So the amount, maybe it was just everybody was a little kooky, or people were a little more scared to act out in public. Whereas now people, like you see insane people on the train and nobody bats an eyelid. Like nobody cares. Like I sat next to this lady in Starbucks today and she was just screaming to herself like the entire time, and nobody did it. Like the Starbucks employees aren't going to deal with her. I'm certainly not going to deal with her. She's trying to like talk to everybody in there, and everybody's just like, okay, yeah. And then, you just kind of like accept it as normal. It's just like this is what it is.
Well, I think it's especially this city though. It's just like so much crazy in like one. It's not very far like landmass. Like New York City's like. It's like a mile and a half. It's like very short,
right.
And it's like weird because I didn't know miles at all until I started doing like the dating apps because you have to do distance, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not interested in anybody that's 12 miles away. I'm like, that's farther than Hoboken,
right?
Which is crazy to think because in my mind I was like, 12 miles is fucking nothing, but you're
right,
like, no,
right.
this city is like fucking tiny,
right? When you're in like in a suburb, 12 miles would be great.
Yeah, you're like,
the perfect
easily
amount.
Yeah, like, it's 12, but I'm like, no, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, now it's like. Even if I'm in Queens and they're in like Brooklyn, I'm like, it's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got to switch trains to go see a girl, that's when you know you're really horny. When you're all right, I'll switch trains. Or there's this girl that lives in White Plains that I was about to go see, and then I was like, what am I doing? I gotta take.
She could be the most incredible girl on the planet, but in your mind you're like, now I'm crazy for doing this.
Yeah, like that's insane. It's really not that crazy far, but it's like, imagine the amount of women I have to pass on the way. I'm like,
you're doing like a mathematical equation. You're like, well, technically, I'm losing this much pussy for this much pussy.
Doesn't make any sense to do that.
But the drug thing's crazy because I was thinking about this too. It's like depressed people. You don't have depressed because people are just getting drunk, and like that. It's
a depressant.
Yeah, but it does fix anxiety briefly. Like it does. Right. It does. Like alcohol and Xanax don't serve like totally different purposes. It kind of does the same thing. One's just worse for your body than the other. It's like it still just masks your anxiety. So it is really the same shit basically. So it's like and it just doesn't make you as stupid. I mean, it does, but it's like it like alcohol and Xanax are almost the same fucking thing. And it's like it was help. Like there is some benefit to being drunk all the time.
Yeah,
it's like, and they did a fucking they did like receipts for like the Continental Congress. Is that what it was called when they signed the Declaration of Independence?
I have no idea. Sounds like it.
Whatever fucking.
Yeah. It's good enough for me.
Yeah. But they, and there was like an absurd amount of alcohol. So these were like fucking, like they looked at all this shit. People used to be just fucked up all the time.
While making like big decisions.
Yeah. And that's probably what gives you the fucking balls, dude. Like being wasted and being like, they were like fucking 27. Being wasted, being 20. And then Benjamin Franklin was with them too, because he's like the older guy at the bar probably who like still he may have just been trying to like hang with the younger guys. Like he may have been that like that guy who's never growing up.
Yeah. But I wonder if anybody was if you were even allowed to be like, nah, I'm not drinking tonight.
Dude, people would probably be like, "Oh, that was not a man." They're like, "You're not part of our new country now."
Yeah, like what even are you if you're not drinking back then? You're kind of just like, I don't know. Not to mention the diet they were eating probably wasn't great. So it's like, yeah, their brains must have just been. But it's also like we haven't evolved a whole lot past that sense.
What do you
like,
mean?
Are we that much smarter than they were back then? It seems like they kind of had things.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're
a little more under control.
In planes, and we have people fucking each other on our phones.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess we're head and shoulders above them. But yeah, I don't know.
I saw the best fucking meme. It was like when you're drunk as fuck on wine at 8 a.m. about to watch a guy fight a lion in like Rome, and I'm like, that's so like to think about the Colosseum. It's like their entertainment was like just getting blackout drunk. Like that had to be so fun to watch a guy fight a tiger, because in your brain, culturally, you've accepted that this is okay,
right?
And like the Colosseum, you're like, this is great. Like you go with your family to like see.
Yeah.
What was it fucking year one where he's like, this is my son's first like rock throwing of like stoning like a whore woman or whatever. And you're like, that had to be fun to like what like we were always like, oh, it'd be crazy if people saw fucking Transformers nowadays. It would blow their mind. I was like, It would blow my mind to watch a man get eaten live by lions in a coliseum full of people. And there's a guy just doing like the thumbs down or like whatever.
I think that could definitely work today. I think it would be weird for like a little bit, and then we just would accept it. Especially if like these people if they were like criminals or something, and we were just, and this gave them like a second chance. Because a lot of people would sign up for that.
Yeah.
A lot of people would be like,
dude, those are
I
like
want to be
influencer people. Those are like the reality TV would be like the gladiators.
It'd be incredible.
Yeah.
But then we'd just get used to it. We'd be like, oh, another pay-per-view. Like, I'm not paying $25
to see this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, that's a lot of...
Does the guy ever like defeat the lion, you think?
There must be a chance that you can win. Yeah, I assume some people won.
Because like in the wild, I mean, we eventually found out how to kill. Like, I don't know. I feel like if I was going to make a gladiator match, I'd give the guy like a stick and a rock.
Right.
And he's got to like make a spear himself and spear a fucking lion.
Yeah. I mean, they do it with bulls, right? And Russell Crowe did it. So he can do it.
Yeah, that can't be inaccurate.
That was a documentary, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Well, somebody told me the bullfighting shit, I didn't know they stabbed the bull at the end.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like a fun little thing.
No, they kill him.
Yeah.
So that means like, anytime they do the running with the bulls, I think all those bulls are going to die eventually.
That's crazy.
All those bulls are going to be murdered that day. Because I think I think they all end up in like one coliseum. So basically we kind of do it in a way. Only they made it so that although I think sometimes the fighters die. So it's kind of like, that's a real
possibility
thing.
Happening. Yeah, it's kind of like the NASCAR thing where it's like people are excited to see.
Yeah, you kind of want to see it.
But it is, that's a very funny. That's why I get really mad when people get like really like shitty about like Grand Theft Auto, and they're like, "Oh, look at where our culture's turning to." It's like we used to have people as slaves. There's no slave video game that now people are like, "Oh, let's start doing it." It's like, no, that doesn't like. I get it that culture can go so far one way positively and then switch at some point, but I'm like, there's no like, we're getting better. Even though we have video games where you beat up whores, it's like that's not like
that's fun.
Yeah. It's literally nobody gets hurt. If people are like, "What does it do to your psyche?" I'm like, well, like. I don't know. I don't know, too, because I also wonder if my political opinions are just influenced by what I want. Because in my mind, I don't want Grand Theft Auto to cause people to beat up whores.
Right.
And I never think it's the main cause of people beating up whores. But maybe there's a guy out there who would not have beat up whores unless he played Grand Theft Auto. For sure. But in my mind, I want to shut that part off and be like...
It's impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible for stuff. But like, both things are possible. It's possible you see the Joker movie and then go shoot up a place.
Right. But was that guy going to do it anyway? But yeah, maybe that was the trigger that did it to him. But it's also like, do you want to live in a society where none of that shit's possible? I can't beat up whores in a video game? No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, you got to take the good with the bad. So yeah, it's the same thing with like guns. It's like, nobody wants shootings and shit, but it's also like people want fucking guns.
Yeah.
You know? So it's, you got to figure out how to, I don't know, because like we could get rid of car crashes altogether if we just got rid of cars.
Do you ever think of a scenario like I've always thought about having a gun because I was in college one time in this I'm pretty sure it was like a pimp and his whore. I don't know. He was just dressed very cool, and this guy was just like holding this woman by her wrist, and she was screaming at him. And then I was like, "Yo, what are you guys doing?" And then the guy like ran away. But in my mind, I like thought of a scenario where it's like, I wish I had a gun so I could just be back away from the lady. You know what I mean? Like you want to have like a whole moment where you're like, back off. Because in the city, dude, I constantly fucking freak out. I'm like, dude, if somebody's gonna get attacked in front of me, like, yes, I think I would do the right thing. But in your mind, you're like, it'd be so much easier if I just had a gun. And I'm like, step away.
You
from
could
the
own
lady.
that situation, but it also escalates it. So it's like, say you do have a gun and then they have a gun, then it's like, all right.
Then he shoots me and hits his whore at the same time. Yeah.
And he's obviously got less to lose than you do, so he's like, yeah, I'll shoot this guy. Whereas you got to be like, fuck, what happens if I do shoot this guy and it looks like I was in the wrong? Like, you don't know the rules. Am I in the wrong? Am I allowed to?
Or he uses his whore as a shield and just like gets her right there.
Yeah, and you're like, fuck, I killed the whore.
Yeah.
Again.
Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. I knew this was gonna. That'd be somebody you play Grand Theft Auto and then accidentally shoot it. You're like, these two things are unrelated.
Yeah, this is so not me.
Yeah.
You shoot a whore in Grand Theft Auto by mistake and you feel so bad about it. You're like, God damn, this is so not who I am. And you're just walking around the game all depressed the rest of the time. You're like, fuck, I killed a whore.
I think I've only played at other people's houses, but the new one looks so fucking sick, dude, especially being in Florida.
I mean, it keeps getting crazier and crazier. But yeah, I think that was the last video game I really played was Grand Theft Auto Vice City on PlayStation 2. And it was just amazing. But then I just never got into video games after that. Like I like you said, I'll play it at like people's houses, but I don't have a system and shit.
Yeah, well, it's also like it's a way to ruin your life. Like there are people I like, dude. The fucking was talking to somebody else, and they're like, yeah, no, there's this guy who was like in med school, and then you start playing. Like people like completely fuck their shit up in
Right.
video games.
But I think it's also like good for your brain. It's good to like get into that like flow state and stuff. And video games get you into that flow state. And a lot of like super successful comics talk about how they play video games like nonstop.
Yeah. But also, I don't know
And
if
it's
they
like-
always have the best habits.
Right. But it
No,
also
I don't think it's bad to play video games. I think it's just a time consumer.
Right.
It's like this is just so much fucking time you're spending on one thing that it's like I don't know any other activity you spend hours and get nothing physically done. Like working out, you do 1 hour of working out.
Yeah. But if it helps your like creative brain and stuff, which I think some people
that's
it
true.
does,
Yeah.
not a bad way to do it. And there's worse things you could be doing. And it's also like we have this like people put so much time and effort into these video games. We have all this crazy technology. It's like crazy not to do. It's like I don't use iPhone. I don't use an iPhone because I don't want to use it. It's like video games are insanely like amazing right now. So it's like why would like not playing it because I might like it too much.
Yeah.
It's like a weird thing. It's
Well, my
like
thing is I
have-
just don't want to pay thousands of dollars for like or however much it is for a fucking gaming system.
Right.
And it's also like, but some of them look fucking sick, dude. The Mortal Kombat shit. Now they're like they had you can play like Michael Myers. You can be fucking like the Terminator in Mortal Kombat now and like shoot the Joker in the face with a gun. I'm like, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's amazing how crazy video games are from where we started. I was a big I remember like Zelda was N64 was probably my peak of video game playing.
Yeah.
And it was like Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong. What was I think it was Donkey Kong where you had not the racing one, but the one where you had to do all these. I think it was just Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
So I'll be honest, I'm fighting.
I think to that one.
I don't know if I explained my situation, but I took NyQuil last night.
Yeah,
dude, I shat it out today. Have you ever had that happen?
You shat out NyQuil,
dude. I went
like the physical pill.
Yeah, dude.
Really?
I didn't know what the fuck was happening. So I'm very
Your body just didn't digest it, huh?
Dude, I took 2. One of them definitely worked because like I took it super late at night and I was like having trouble sleeping. I was like, I got to be up for this podcast because Tate's going to be on it.
Yeah.
And I
gotta
match his
bring high
and
energy.
He doesn't fucking show up. And then I like, dude, before you got here, I took a caffeine pill and I'm just on the couch, like the NyQuil's battling the caffeine pill, just like basically like I'm doing some sort of poor man's speedball, and I'm just
yeah.
And then I take a shit and I see this blue thing in my shit, and I'm like, this is. I started freaking out. I didn't know what it was. I was like, this is like insane. There's like a blue plastic thing, and I was like thinking about it. I was like, dude, did I like eat plastic at some point? And I went through all my meals. I couldn't figure out. I'm like, oh no, that was it. And I looked it up. Like you could just. The pill just doesn't work.
Really? It just goes right through you.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Maybe it's your tonsils that aren't working properly.
I don't think my tonsils are filtering out pills, but I think it's just like whatever I fucking ate. It was funny when I went to the store though, because the woman working there's like a crackhead. It was weird because the guy, I walk into the bodega and it's locked, but there's a crackhead inside, and I'm like, is he locking her in? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then he unlocks it for me, and he's like, the woman's like, oh, you're gonna need some Gatorade. I was like, no, I'm not drinking tonight. She's like, you take NyQuil, you're gonna need Gatorade. I'm like, I'm not taking whatever amount of NyQuil you are taking.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna need to be hung up. I don't know. That doesn't make any like.
It's always a good thing when your bodega store knows your drinking habits.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the bodega store. It was the crackhead in the bodega store.
And they know your drinking habits.
Well, I think she just
They
thought.
just assume.
I'm just taking. Yeah, she's just assuming that I'm drinking because I'm out at like 3 a.m. But I'm just
Yeah.
like not sleeping well, so I'm taking NyQuil. But that's also the kind of thing where I feel like she would ask me for money for that advice. She's like, "Come on, I told you
Yeah.
to get Gatorade. Give me $4."
That's the thing. Sometimes you'll just be in a conversation with somebody, like accidentally, you'll find yourself in a conversation with someone, and then you're like, oh, this person wants money from it. This is it quickly your signs go on like, oh, this person, like, I don't know if you've ever been to Port Authority, and there's people that like if you don't know where you're going, they'll like be like, where do you need to go?
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, yeah, give me some fucking money for that. It wasn't free.
It is like a beautiful thing in New York too, though. The amount people will try to not have a real job. Like I've gotten this, dude. I've started opening different bank accounts at different banks to get money because they're like, I get
those credits,
dude. I had like a Chase credit card, but not a bank account. They're like $300 if you open a bank account. I'll fucking do that.
Perfect.
Wells Fargo, I have a debit card but no savings. And they're like $225. I was like, absolutely. So I'm just opening different bank accounts around the fucking city.
Smart, dude.
And I almost brought it up in a conversation because Dan Carney was talking about how he did like the Wilbur Theater. And all these comics like, yeah, I did this theater, that theater. And I was like, I just started opening bank accounts.
Yeah,
for
I'm way ahead of you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys
How much
got
did that
paid,
pay?
but-
I probably paid more than fucking $300,
But still, yeah, it is true. The things that people will go through, like you see all the people selling like candy bars and stuff on the train. It's like maybe they don't have any other options and they got to do that. But I'm like, I don't know how profitable that is. Or people that are still collecting cans. I'm like, is that really?
I don't. There's always
The
an
amount of
Asian lady,
effort?
and I was like the tiniest Asian lady, and she just got that stick with 2 trash bags on each end, and just filling it to like the max.
I feel like you'd have better luck just like going around, better luck looking for like coins around rather than collecting cans.
Or being like a Times Square Elmo, dude. I might see. I want to do that, but I don't want to like take jobs away from Mexicans. You know what I mean? That is. It's always like a Mexican dude who comes here and
Right.
is Elmo.
But no, I could see you doing that. I wonder what they do. They just get their own costume, go down there, and start charging people for pictures.
Yeah.
There's no way they're like licensed to do that, right?
No. Yeah.
It is crazy now how you see everybody selling shit everywhere, like selling fruit and stuff. And I'm like, there's no way they have like a license to be
for sure.
here
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the train
Yeah.
selling this shit. But
Yeah. But it's one of those things too. You could be like just poisoning. You could be putting just
You put
razors
whatever
in all
you
the
want.
apples. Yeah.
Yeah, are they going through like the health department background check? I don't think so.
Dude, how easy would it be to put a needle inside of an apple? Like, you wouldn't notice that shit. If you just, like, fucking pushed it in there deep.
Yeah.
That's kind of a smart plan.
Now we're thinking.
If you're listening, you want to kill some Americans, start putting needles into apples and putting them there. Yeah, that's fucking, like, but it's crazy, too. Like, you ever see, like, the Mexican dudes who, like, they've worked all day doing delivery, and then they're just drinking beers, partying together, and you're like, dude, this has to be, like, the best, the happiest anybody's been.
Yeah, they do seem pretty psyched. I mean, I don't know that it's a great life. A lot of them are just passed out on the train, and that doesn't look like a lot of fun. But it does. Yeah, they do know how to like. You work hard during the day, and then you just fucking drink your face off at night. It's not a bad.
Well, and it's
not
like
a
just
bad way to do
think
it.
about like just entering this country has to be fucking terrifying because in your mind you're like,
Right.
dude, if I get kicked out, I'm gonna get sent back to this country where the cartel is like running shit,
Right.
and it's cutting people up with fucking machetes, and you're like, it's really sucks when you realize how good your life is and how unhappy you are because that happens to me all the fucking time. I'm like, dude, I have no fucking day job. I'm single in New York City. It's like I pay fucking nothing in rent.
You're like Kevin McAllister, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm fucking like living home alone. But in my
Yeah.
head, I'm like, I miss my family. And it's like, it's fucking crazy because I'm like, on paper, and I do have some moments where, like I went to a Madonna concert a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, dude, my life is fucking sick. Like, and I was like,
I mean, that would be the last thing I would say if I was at a Madonna concert.
dude, it's fucking awesome.
I'd be
And I'm like,
this blows.
I'm just drunk as hell. I got to.
What was she looking like? Is she looking very whorish?
Yeah. She was cool. I didn't know lesbians were in a Madonna. That was really weird to me. But it was funny too because it's like she went on some like long rant because and she did some thing with AIDS that was very like fascinating, very positive. I was like moved by it. I was like, ah, damn, this is I forgot.
What was she saying? We need to bring back AIDS.
Yeah, she's like, bring back AIDS. Yeah. You guys have gone too far.
What is she? I assume she just plays all the hits. Does she try to do like new stuff and be like, listen to my new?
Dude, I didn't realize how many shit hits she had.
Insane.
It's fucking crazy, dude. Like in my mind, I was like, I know none of this music, and then she starts playing all the fucking songs, and I'm like, oh shit, I know every fucking one of these. Like, there was like so many songs, but then I think she started doing covers because I was like, oh man, I didn't know she like made the Happy Birthday song.
Like a virgin? Did she sing?
Oh
like a
yeah,
virgin?
dude, that was fucking awesome. She had all these like gay dudes in the leather, like it's all like very like they're like almost like anti-religious, like they got like crosses on. They're like, ah. And
She was so like edgy back in the day, and now she's like still trying to be edgy.
Well,
It's
that is
just
the funny part,
weird
too,
When
'cause-
like a 70-year-old is like, look how edgy I am.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, I don't know. Maybe tone it down a little bit.
Well, this is what I wish she did more of. So she did the whole thing where like she had this like really because she has a song about AIDS. So you're like, oh, okay, this is like nice that she's showing like all the famous people who died of AIDS, and like it was like kind of like a beautiful thing. I was like, wow, I really like appreciate all this. But then she went on some like other rant about stuff. But then she went on a rant about how she's the shit. I'm like, I want more of that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the lesbians behind me, the gay dudes, were like, yeah, more of her just being like, I'm a bitch. What are you gonna fucking do?
I'm a queen.
Yeah, like that. I like that being like,
Yeah.
I'm literally the most famous person. You could suck my fucking asshole. Like that's cool. Like the way she started is like this like gay black drag queen came out. I'm just assuming he's gay because he's dressed up like not a lot of straight dudes wear dresses.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
But
That's-
he's
yeah.
going to the audience and just like roasting people. I'm like, this is awesome. I like that. Like that's sick for him to just be like from Staten Island, which you've never seen a black man before or a gay man. I bet. Like, you look uncomfortable as hell. I'm like, this is fucking sick.
He was crowd working at a Madonna concert.
Yeah, dude, in fucking Madison Square Garden. I'm like,
Probably wasn't even on the docket. Like he probably wasn't even supposed to do that. He's just like, I'm feeling fucking.
there's
good
just
right
a
now.
random gay dude who just came up and
Yeah.
a microphone. Like, he looks fucking official. He's the gayest of the gays. He's got a pink dress on.
He's workshopping his new material.
yeah.
At a Madonna concert. That seems like a strange place to do it, but
Oh yeah, but it was fucking like I like the I'm more famous than all you. I've probably gotten like the best dick and like I've fucked the hottest people. Like that's cool. I like that bragging. It's like that's kind of like that element of gay / lady culture. I don't know what do you call Project Runway? Because it's not just gay people. It's like women like it. What's the X and Y axis where you hit gay and women? Because I know gays aren't women. I know they're men. But there's that weird thing.
They like the same. They like a lot of the same things. I think their brains kind of go towards a lot of the same shit.
Dude, we learned about it in fucking psych class. Like spatial gay dudes' brains in like a lot of ways are similar to women. Like as far as like analytically, like they're like as far as roasting, women are great at roasting and gay dudes are good at roasting because they can break shit down. Like they notice things that like straight guys wouldn't notice.
Right, and they don't really have people telling them no either. You know, like girls can get away with saying like way more ruthless shit because they've never been told they can't.
Dude, I kind of disagree.
And
with
they can't
that.
really hit him. You can't hit him like Bill Burr says. They can say all this crazy shit. They can get as drunk and as crazy as they want, and nobody can hit them. Whereas guys have to constantly be like, okay, if I cross a line here, I'm gonna get fucking knocked out.
Yes, and so I think it depends what it is. Like I think growing up, dudes can say whatever they want because I had no consequences, and any girl that was mean, I would be like, she's a fucking cunt. But a guy, they'd be like, that guy's hilarious. So like in that aspect, I think people aren't like that. But on stage, yeah, I think more women should go for it and be more ruthless. Because on stage, sometimes women are kind of like soft, and you're like, oh, you have like a great weapon. You can be really mean to a guy, and people will clap for you. Versus like if I'm really mean to a woman in the audience, people are like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But I think growing up, it's different. I think like. So I think a lot of them in their mind, they're like, oh, if I'm mean, people think I'm a bitch. But it's like, no, you can get away with like a lot more shit than you think you can. But
you can make fun of a guy for having a little dick as forever. You know, that's like you get a free pass for that. It's like, that guy can't help that.
No.
Not that we have that problem, but some guys can't.
No,
help
this is
that,
a big dick podcast, dude. Yeah. That's probably why Tate didn't show up.
You check dicks before they
Yeah.
get on the
No, I
podcast.
have
You're
some
like, this
little
has
dick
to
pussies on
be
this.
like, all right, you're good. You can get on. Barely, but you
You
can get on.
barely made the cut. Well, dude, apparently dick implants, like me and Patty were talking about, like that Drake dick pic's fucking insane. Like that.
I never saw that. What's the deal with that? I totally missed that. He was jerking off on a plane and someone videoed it?
No, dude. He has this like thing where he's recording a mirror in front of him, and it's like it's not POV, but it's like reflecting back, and it's him just playing with his dick, and it's like half soft and just fucking swinging around. It looks like an elephant's fucking tusk, just kind of like when you see one.
You think it's AI or you think it's real?
Nah, it's his fucking dick, dude. People were blown away by black dicks. Black dudes just have giant, not all of them, but like black dicks are fucking big. And
right. And he sent that to somebody, or how did that get out?
It got leaked by this guy named Krill, who's like this kind of like professional scumbag. Like he has like I don't give a shit what he does, but he has these like he went to our college one time and did this thing called Krill is Here, where it's just like Girls Gone Wild. He's like a Girls Gone Wild kind of guy, where it's just him posting on his Instagram with like a bunch of like whores, just like eh. But I don't know why he leaked Drake's dick pic or whatever. But I was talking to Patty about it. It's like there's never been a small celebrity dick pic leak. And we were saying, what if celebrities, the dick technology, what if a lot of celebrities have had dick implants and we don't even know about it?
Yeah. Also, if you're a celebrity, why are you taking pictures of your? It's crazy that they have the same issues that we have. It's like, oh, I hope this picture doesn't get out, but they're like a celebrity, you know?
Yeah. Well,
it's like I would probably not have pictures of my dick on my phone if I was a celebrity.
But maybe you don't. Well, it would be different if you didn't know you're going to be a celebrity. But these are after the fact. You can kind of just tell women like you're like. I feel like as like Drake, you're probably like you're gonna have not in a rapey way, but you're like I'm Drake. Does my dick even fucking matter? You're like, there's no way you care about it. You're gonna have sex with me, probably.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. He could have a tiny dick. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And people are gonna say you have a tiny dick anyway. If they're mad at you, they're gonna be like. But I guess maybe this is good for him if any girls ever like. Fuck Drake. He's got a tiny dick. Yeah, I guess if you have if your sex tape gets leaked and it's a good one, then it can only help.
Well, that's got to be annoying though if you have like a bad angle on your dick. Because
Yeah.
I got like an average hog, and I'm like, there's angle. I've taken a bad angle before, and somebody leaks the bad angle. and you're like, oh,
you're like,
dude.
let me explain this.
Let me. Or you didn't shave good enough, so you're like losing. Dude, I don't want to lose half an inch on a celebrity dick pic. If
Right.
mine comes out, I'm like, no. If a celebrity dick pic got leaked of mine that looks small, I would the next day make a dick pic of me with it looking big with my face in it.
I like
Just
that
to
you
let
said
people-
lick it there.
Lick-
I would lick a dick. Oh, sorry. I mean,
I would suck a penis in front of the whole world. But it's like you wouldn't like, I would like, I don't know. I always think about that because it's like, would you, the sex tape thing's tricky too. It's like, you're a celebrity. It's weird that like I'm going to be naked on camera. If my career goes the way I want to, I'm going to be naked on camera.
right. God,
For
we're
comedic-
we're all hoping for that.
Yeah.
I think.
For comedic purposes.
We're all
like,
rooting for you to get famous now, just so we can see that.
yeah, well, it's like for comedic purposes, a dude's ass is funny. It's like we were watching Old School the other day, like Will Ferrell's like Nate. I'm like, dude, I would love I like going for the bit, so I'll always fucking get.
Yeah,
fucking
but if you have like a sweet ass, it's not as funny anymore, right? Like Will Ferrell had like a whatever ass, like a frumpy little ass. So it's that's what's hilarious about it. But if you have like a tight, nice ass,
I'm never gonna have that. I've been going to the gym a lot. I'm not doing ass workouts. I refuse to have a good ass.
Yeah, but I think you might have it. I think you might naturally have a decent ass.
Nah,
no?
dude, I got a fucking gross ass.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a shame.
Yeah. I don't know what your plans are after the
That's too
podcast. But it's
bad.
not.
Yeah. You strike me as someone that would have like a nice plump ass, but you don't. Right? Maybe it's the chubby Michael Good that when you were chubby, did you have a nice ass or no?
It's just like if this is a 3-person podcast, it would be funny, but it's dimly lit in this, and then you just go, you strike me as a guy who has a plum ass. It's just me and you right now. So there's no, I never had a good ass.
I'll take a better look next time. We'll see, but yeah, that's a.
But in my mind, I'm like me naked. It's like I grew up on like Jackass, so I was like, oh, dudes getting naked. It's fun. It's funny. It's like I would go streaking all the time. Like I think stuff like that's funny, but it's like I don't know. For some reason, when you're now putting your penis in a vagina and there's a video of it, for some reason, it just brings you down to this level of like, oh, now you're like a porn star.
Yeah, now it's real. You're right. Like, there's something much different about like naked and like trying to be sexual about it. Once you're trying to be sexual about it, it's no longer funny, and now people are going to judge you based on that. But if you're trying to be funny and naked, then you don't have to. Especially if you're famous, like if you see like Seth Rogen naked or something like that, you're like, yeah, that guy's trying to be funny.
Yeah,
he's silly. And it's
nobody's like, can you
girls are
believe-
still like, I still want to fuck him. He's famous. You know?
Yeah. Well, and there's no like, you never see like a guy naked in a movie. Everybody's like, can you believe he like degraded himself to that? You're like, nah, dude, he just fucking.
Yeah, he's being a silly goose.
Yeah. Nobody's like, I can't believe my father got naked on
Right,
TV.
right,
I mean, I have
right.
no idea what the children of these celebrities are thinking, but I doubt you fucking care.
Yeah, they
about
probably
that.
don't care. But then when a chick gets naked on camera, that's a different story.
Yeah, but it should. I mean, I honestly, I don't give a like. I don't judge any of that shit, dude. I've watched so much porn in my life that I'm like, I don't fucking judge porn stars at all, dude. It's like it's a great way to make a fucking living, and you're doing shit that every single person's doing. You just happen to be recording it and making a lot of money. It's like in my mind, I don't fucking like. I don't know. There's always those podcasts where this dude comes on. It's like 5 dumb whores, and he's just like, "You guys fucking suck." And I'm like, "Why are you?" These women are like helping so many dudes jizz, and like you're being so fucking mean to them.
And it's like that is going to exist either way. So it's like somebody has to do it. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be that. I think they're going to have trouble getting into a relationship or like
totally
their children and stuff. I think that's.
But in my mind, though, if I'm
fear.
fucking a porn star, I'm like, dude, you've had the best dicks in the world and you still want to fuck me. Like that's like the biggest compliment to me. It's like you'd have to stop doing porn. I would never date somebody who still does porn. But somebody who's like, I've done a couple pornos, I think I could date. Because in my mind, I'm like, you've gotten the biggest dicks and the best fuckers in the world, and you're still fucking me. I'm like, that is the biggest confidence booster on the planet.
Yeah, it's like they're a sex professional, and they're choosing you.
And they're like,
to have sex with,
you're like, Michael's the best. It's not like, oh, your girlfriend's a whore. It's like, no, you are the best
king.
dick giver in town.
Yeah. I would. I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
But I don't know what
think
happened to
that'd
that
be tough.
conservative side of podcasting. Because like when I was in high school, like I was kind of conservative. But like my conservative friends were like, dude, it's all about fucking whores and making money, doing coke. And now there's this weird thing where like some of these conservative guys, not all of them, but some of them are just like, well, what message does this send to the children? You're like, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. As long as it's not your girl, then it's like fine. It's like, yeah, do whatever you want. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. If I found out that my girl used to do porn, I'd be
I get people
that would
not,
sting a little bit.
Yeah, I get people not being on board with it, but I'm just saying I think I could maybe look past it. Like I get like I'm not like blown away by people who can't handle a relationship with somebody who does porn. Like that's like or did porn. It's like I get that completely. Or even somebody who's done like a centerfold thing. I'm like I get. Well, that's weird too though. I'm going through that thing where people from my high school are now like Playboy's online now. So they're like online Playboy models, which is very weird.
Why? Because Playboy's got to be the magazine.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm like, you're not a fucking real porn star. It's like you're not. They're not printed.
Right.
The pages can't even get stuck together.
At that point, you're just a naked chick on the internet.
Yeah. Because there's something
different.
like beautiful about the actual like container. Like when you see the fucking magazine, you're like, this is fucking awesome.
It's glossy. It's shining.
Dude, I remember my dad took me in college to go to a fraternity bar, or when I was in like middle school, and he was like, let me show you what the only reason I went to college is because we went to a fraternity house when I was like 10 years old. My dad took me and my friend to like his old fraternity house, and it was just hot chicks and beer everywhere. And then I was like, I am going to fucking college. I was like, I'm going to work as hard as I fucking can to go to college.
Smart move.
That'd be funny. They just take inner city kids and like just sick frat parties. Like, dude, this is what you're fucking do.
This could be your future.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest regrets is not going to like a big school like that and just partying my fucking
it was
dick
amazing.
off,
but like, the best is seeing like I remember there was a Playboy on the table, and it was like the hardest thing because I'm standing there with my dad, and it was so hard like not to just fucking open it and look in it. Like I was like I literally just I was waiting for my dad. I think my dad went to the bathroom, came back, and he caught me like looking through it. I was like, I just want to see a fucking naked chick.
Dude, I remember my sister went to University of Arizona for like a year, and I went to visit her when I was in high school. So I was probably like 16 at some like University of Arizona party, and I was like, this is mind blowing. Like,
oh yeah.
And every chick is so hot. And then I just get so drunk. I don't think I spoke to one of them. I was just so fucking hammered.
Dude, I'd go out. I'd have braces in high school. I'd visit my brother at University of Georgia. And I think I don't remember if I hooked up with anybody when I was in. I would do the same. I visited my cousin in Florida State, and I remember I'd sex the girl in the closet of a fraternity house. And that was the coolest thing, being in high school and you had sex with a college girl. And it was so cool. My brother was like he was always like, never kiss and tell. And so when I did that, I was just like, I can't tell anybody about it. Like my mind, it was just so stupid because that would have made me cooler in high school if I would have just been like
a million times cooler, dude. You would have not had to sit alone at the they would have been like, oh, Michael Good fucked a college. Who was this college chick fucking a young Michael Good?
Well, I would just lie all the time, dude. I would always lie. And
but you must have looked young too. You look young now.
Dude, I didn't. I hear the opposite. People say I look older.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Well, thank you.
You got a sweet ass and you look young. Don't listen to anybody else.
I'm scared to click play because I don't know what kind of movies you're gonna make after I. Or click pause. What fucking ever, dude. This as I said, this NyQuil. One of those pills worked. One of them got shat out, and one of them is fucking working.
Yeah. So you're still in sleep mode. I like that you're taking caffeine pills rather than just drinking a coffee like a normal fucking human.
Well, it's just gonna be extra calories, and I'm gonna put sugar in it if I do coffee. I'm not gonna drink it.
Just do a black coffee, dude.
Coffee's like dehydrating to me because a caffeine pill, I could take a caffeine pill and a Gatorade, and it's like I get all the liquid I need.
I feel like that takes away all the fun. Like the whole part of the coffee experience is to sit down, have a coffee, enjoy it, and you're just mainlining caffeine right into the bloodstream.
I wonder if I could snort it. I'm not gonna do that, but I'm just curious what happens if you snort.
I'm sure you could. I remember kids in college used to snort like NO Explode. Do you remember NO Explode was a big thing? It was it had like caffeine. It was like a pre-workout. It was like one of the original pre-workouts, but it would just get you so jacked up, like your veins would be popping out, and kids would like snort that before going out.
That's crazy, yeah.
I feel like snorting just adds an element of.
I don't do coke anymore, but I love snorting. It's fun. I wish there was more things I could snort.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else you could snort.
To be honest,
give you that.
If you could inject shit into you, that would be sick too. That's not, and it wasn't bad. If you could just inject like a Red Bull into your arm and just like, but it would be like slightly more.
Yeah.
Just the act of doing like crazy shit like that, like you're in fucking Pulp Fiction or something like that. Just a syringe, you can just stab into your knee and just like,
and just get right to it. You can cut out the middleman of having to put in all the effort of drinking a Red Bull.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
Eventually,
wildly inconvenient. But I'm like,
eventually, we're gonna get to that point where you can just mainline. You can mainline like. I mean, now they have like those IV things that you can put in you, and they put all these nutrients in you.
Oh yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
Have you
with
done that
hangover.
for like a hangover?
Yeah, it doesn't
And it's
work.
worked? It doesn't work.
Well, because what happens is when you get hungover, you act like a fucking retard and you don't remember what happened and you're embarrassed from your behavior. And no matter how much water and vitamins and nutrients, it's not going to fix that. So, like,
Not
no
gonna
matter
fix your brain. Yeah,
Dude,
your mind.
And that's what I would do it to try to deal with like panic attacks, and it didn't make me feel any better. 'Cause
Yeah,
my brain,
yeah.
I'm just like,
What
oh,
about
now I
that?
have $100 less, and yeah.
And less friends.
Yeah.
No girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, now I was saying this on the last episode. Blacking out now, I don't do anything stupid because it doesn't matter. It's like every time I black out, which has happened probably like probably twice since the breakup. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, did I cheat on my girlfriend? I'm like, oh, well, first off, I don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And also, I was like, oh, nothing happened. I was just fun. Like, I text my friends, they're like, you were a fucking blast last night. I was like, oh, was I? That's great. Like, nothing bad happened at all.
Yeah. Yeah, you realize how little sex you're having when you stop having a girlfriend. You're like, oh, I didn't need to worry about
Blacking
shit.
out and fucking. It's like, what did I think I was going to, somebody would fuck me with? I'm like,
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm some Adonis when I start.
Yeah.
when I start drinking. It's like, no, it takes some fucking effort. It takes some luck. It's
Yeah.
to fucking stumble into some
pussy.
random one night stand pussy.
Yeah, well, it's like I see pictures of myself, and I'm like, dude, I saw a picture of myself on my birthday, and it's like, dude, I got like fucking White Claw all over my shirt. And I'm like, there's no way anybody was trying to fuck me.
Yeah, you're right. When we're at our like least attractive, you're like, oh, I hope I don't fuck it. I hope I don't fuck a supermodel.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. I never black out, dude. So anytime I fuck up, it's totally on me. At least when you fuck up and you're blacked out, you're like, what can you do?
Yeah.
But if you don't black out, it's like, nah, you're kind of just a shitty person.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is a great excuse. Like, I got in a fucking argument with somebody recently, and then I found out, I didn't know they were drunk. I found they were drunk, and I was like, oh, you're not that crazy. You're just fucking drunk.
Yeah.
But the hard part is when I'm drunk, I don't slur much. Like, sometimes I do, but like, so it sounds worse because people don't think I'm drunk, and I'm just saying things. I'm like, dude, I'm just telling you. Like, if I could just go to high school and have a trank gun and shoot a bunch of furries, I think that'd be a great
it'd be
idea.
awesome.
But if you're drunk, people go, you're like, I'm going to high school. They're like, whatever. But like, they're like, why is Michael coming up with these like really thought out ideas? Like, it sounds like I planned all of this shit.
Right, because you're making too much sense almost.
Yeah. They're
You're
like,
he's got some good
ideas.
Get some great ideas that Michael good. Yeah, that's the thing. Blacking out. I feel like if you black out ever, you're somebody that blacks out all the time. Like it's very rare that people I think it like flips on. I think it's some sort of like switch in your brain where if you're like a guy that blacks out, a guy or a girl that blacks out, then you're gonna continue doing that your whole life. Because all my friends that black out, they black out all the time. But I never.
Are they like
black out.
all alcoholics though?
Not really. Just like, I mean, they drink a good amount. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think for some reason, I don't know what happens, but like I black out like, okay, I under exaggerated. I probably blacked out 5 times since I got out of my relationship. But it's not like I've never had like a full blackout where I don't remember what happened that night. It's always just like little bits and pieces. I'm like,
where someone says something, you're like, oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, or like a ride home. I'm like, I don't remember the Uber I took home.
Right.
But it's not like, and also what happens is I started drinking healthier because I'm doing vodka sodas instead of beer, which causes you to black out more because you're drinking just fucking liquor.
Yeah.
And then I rip shots a lot too, which gets you fucking.
Isn't that such a catch-22? It's like you don't want the calories of the beer. You want to be in shape, but that just means you're going to be a blacked out mess.
Yeah, it's fucking annoying as shit.
Like chicks are crazy like
well,
that.
chicks
Like,
black out
they'll
because they have like one fucking. They're like, oh, I had Tostitos for lunch, and then I drank.
Yeah, they
it.
don't eat, and then they drink just vodka sodas.
Yeah.
All night.
It's like,
So they
that's
can
why
stay
you're
skinny.
blacking
It's like you're
out.
skinny and blacked out.
Yeah.
Congrats.
And it's like dangerous, dude. There's this like thing that happens where it's like, I mean, some dudes are pretty fucked. And, I don't know. It's pretty even with drunk craziness of men and women, but it's like, I don't know. I think what I used to do with my ex when she was fucking hammered, I get her to smoke weed. I'd be like, it would be so cool if you got fucking high, and then she'd just fall asleep. And like, it is kind of like a great plan to like sedate somebody who's too fucking drunk.
Yeah.
Or we do that shit in high school. You ever like give somebody like a water and you tell them it's like beer or whatever,
And they
you
just
see some
drink it.
hammered guy just like chugging waters all night.
Dude, it's crazy. Now that I'm working at the bar, seeing people's drinking habits, I'm just like, people are like 40, 50 years old and they still are just children. Like, I'm like, if you're a drinker, you're just a child. You're fucking, I'm starting to hate drinkers. No offense to you.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah.
But no, people that just get sloppy and they're not fun. They're just like miserable and they're just like, can you give me another shot? I'm like, you really think you need another shot? What's another shot going to do for you right now?
Yeah.
And then, sometimes you'll give them like you'll give them something that's not a shot as a shot. And they'll take it, and they'll be like, oh, they have no idea.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, you are totally like useless. And what makes you think that this is like a good thing for you to do? Like, what are you accomplishing here?
Right. But I think in their mind, they're like, I think there's like depressed, or sometimes you just get so in the loop of like, I think so many people are caught up with the idea of I'm the fun drunk guy, which I've been caught in. And then you like, it's so hard to get out of that because you're like, this is my personality. I'm the bar guy. All my friends are at this fucking bar.
Yeah. What am I going to do? Not drink? Just hang out? Just stand there?
Yeah. Well, that's why it always blows my mind when like, dude, alcoholism is so hard to notice. People act like, I mean, with like things like that, yes. But it's one of those things, man, where it's like, I for sure have a bunch of alcoholic friends. And sometimes it takes a real long time when you're just like looking at like every Instagram story they're out every single night. And like for a while, you're like, damn, they're having a fucking blast.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, you're like, oh yeah, some people wear it really well and it looks so fun. Because I think that people act like there's not levels to it. There's fucking levels to it. There is like, you drink all the time. And maybe, I'm sure some of these friends are just fun, drunk people, but it's like, no, there is like, I for sure have alcoholic friends. I mean, some of them are dead, but like the ones that are alive, you're like, oh, this is like, I don't know. It's like I was watching a movie recently and it's like, it's weird if some people can make drunk look fun or drugs, and it kind of is probably harder to quit if you're doing fun shit.
Right.
Like if you're doing fucking cocaine and going jet skiing, who the fuck is going to tell you? Like who's going to be like, you shouldn't do cocaine and jet skiing? It's like, really? Well, you don't do cocaine. What did you fucking do today? You made fucking pottery, you fucking loser bitch. You're going to tell me not to do cocaine and jet ski? This is the funnest day of my fucking life.
Yeah, at that point, sometimes it's people's identity where they're like, they are the fun drunk one, and you can't deny.
Like,
it.
you live in a
it's
mansion and you can't fucking drink in your mansion? That sounds terrifying to me.
Yeah,
I want to act like a fucking retard if I have a mansion, dude. I want to be having fucking gladiator matches in the mansion.
Yeah.
Like, how do you tell somebody who's having an oil wrestling competition they need to get their fucking life together? There's like 2 fucking hot models with just gorgeous women wrestling in their house, and they're like, you need to get sober. You're like, fuck off, dude.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's so accepted, because it's like some people that do it all the time are having like the sweetest life ever. So you're like, what are you going to say to these people?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're doing something wrong. It's like, what am I doing wrong? I'm having the best time ever.
Yeah, people would kill to live my life. And I'm sure they're depressed. Like, I'm sure there's a thing where you go, oh, okay, well, I've adjusted to this. Now I need 3 girls oil wrestling, or it's not a good Friday night.
Right.
Like, that probably makes you depressed. You're like, oh, that model couldn't show up to oil wrestling, and it's like,
yeah, your bar is so high.
You're like, why does God hate me
for endorphins?
Yeah.
You need to keep hitting that. But
well, I can't imagine doing like I said, like doing coke. Dude, I have a friend. He fucking would do like acid, and he told me one time he's like on acid and Molly on a jet ski, just like tripping. He's like, dude, I was flying through a colorful dimension. I'm like, how do you tell somebody that's not like you're basically living an avatar, and you're like.
One time I went to a couples massage on acid, and that was probably like the peak of my
life.
Well, I took acid because I was like, I had some acid. I got it from some guy at when I was barking outside the pair. Some dude on the street was just like, you got to take this acid. And like a smart person, I took it off the guy on the street. But he's a guy that like hangs out. He would hang out at the pair a lot.
Face
I'm sure
tattoos?
you know him. No, not one of these sketchy guys. Like a guy that's like almost like a normal guy hanging out at the pair, and he was there all the time. And he was telling me he had some acid, and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to try it and just fucking do it and walk around. So I took it, and I was like, I'm just going to walk around right now. Like, I left my phone at home, and I was like, I'm just going to stroll and enjoy this acid. And then I run into a chick that I'd been like kind of trying to get with for a while, and like nothing happened. But she had just like quit her job or something. We ran into each other on the street. So she's like, "What are you doing now?" I was like, "Nothing." And I'm on acid, so I'm trying to like play it cool. I'm like, I can't possibly go on a date with this girl right now. Like, this is too wild. And then she's like, "Let's go grab a drink." So we go and grab a drink. And like halfway through the drink, I'm like, "I got to tell you something. I'm on acid right now." She's like, oh, and then she's like, "Oh, I love mushrooms." I'm like, "I have mushrooms I just happen to have mushrooms at my house." I'm like, "You want to take some mushrooms?" She's like, "Yeah." So we go back and take some. I take a little bit of mushrooms.
And acid. Yeah.
And then she's like, "I really want to get a couples massage." And I was like, "Yeah, sounds amazing." So we go and get a couples massage. She gets like fully naked in the like we've never hooked up or anything, and we're fully naked next to it. Or maybe she still had underwear on, but she takes her tits out.
Jesus Christ!
And we're just sitting next to each other, getting massaged, and then I was like, "This is the peak of
my life." Yeah.
And then,
But like, who's to tell you otherwise? Who had a better fucking day that day? Somebody who's like, I looked at my son in the face. I'm like, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
like somebody whose baby was born. But the only way to recreate the experience of seeing your own baby. I
Right.
know, I'm sure my dad's can tell me a week later. He's like, you'll never know what it's like to have a real son. And look at it. I'm
Yeah.
sure I've never experienced that. But as somebody who's never had a kid, I'm like,
is
doing
the closest
acid with a
thing.
beautiful woman and getting a massage sounds like the best fucking day of my life.
it was the best, dude. And then we went to a bar after, and I saw Dylan. I ran into Dylan Krasinski, and I was like,
this is the craziest
oh,
fucking
yeah, I was
day.
like, this
yeah.
is insane, dude. And then
Isn't it fucking sick not having a day job, dude?
it was incredible. Like the adventures you can get into when you just have like a free day and someone else has a free day.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. And the day is so long. You're like, wow, we can do so many things.
Yeah.
When you don't have that like 10 hours cut out by like a.
Well, it is funny too
job.
because I just said that and then I realized I'm like, oh yeah, I just edit clips and send emails. Like I basically have a job.
Yeah, you're
like,
basically working. Well, you need to do something because it's like you can't do that all the time. But that's when it's awesome when you have that free day and you're just like, oh, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
And I think things like acid and mushrooms make you just like go out and be like, oh, I'm just gonna go and see what the fuck happens. And shit, I feel like always happens when you do that. When you just walk out into the city, like you're gonna see some you're gonna get into some crazy shit.
Well, that's why I need to stop looking for stuff. When you start looking for stuff, you're like, oh, I need to do something fun. It doesn't happen. But sometimes you just stumble into a fun day. Like, dude, I don't know if this episode's gonna come out. I have a logged episode that but I fucking did. I went to a strip club with some friends. One of my friends got